devotes its entire broadcast to the life and death.
Shock and mourning for the death of a princess.
National news programmes here have been reporting nothing else. The coverage has been coast to coast. Such was this country's love affair with the princess.
She was really friendly and kind, and she really touched everyone.
There is also great anger in certain quarters over the way the princess met her death. Hollywood celebrities have been speaking out.
The press, by and large, are fantastic. We're talking about a small renegade group. They're stalkers. They're legalized stalkers.
Single-handedly, Princess Diana changed the way Americans view the royal family. She was this country's favourite visitor, and as far as people here are concerned, Britain's finest ambassador. John Irvine, ITN, Washington.
The sense of shock and disbelief in America has been repeated around the world. Many celebrities have been paying tribute to Diana, who was their friend. Tributes have been observed in the sporting world too. Mark Austin reports.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we ask you to stand for a moment of silence to remember the tragic and untimely death of Diana, Princess of Wales.
Everywhere they've been remembering the princess who touched the world. At the US Open Tennis Championships, players and spectators stood in silence. Across the globe in Pakistan, former cricketer Imran Khan paid his tribute to a personal friend.
She was someone who, when I needed her desperately earlier this year in May to help us with our cancer hospital, she just, on 2 weeks' notice, hopped on a plane, came, and her presence, of course, revived the hospital.
In Moscow, Boris Yeltsin spoke of his gratitude to the woman who visited Russian charities 2 years ago. She was loved and is loved by Russian people, said the president. In Hong Kong, both English and Chinese newspapers are full of the tragic story. There's been a rush for books about her, and commemorative stamps issued when it was a British colony are quickly selling out, despite suddenly soaring prices. Diana had been due to visit Hong Kong later this month. Mark Austin, ITN.
Let's go back now to James Notes at Buckingham Palace. James, we've just been seeing reaction there around the world to the death of the princess. Of course, though, Buckingham Palace is the focal point, really, of all the grief.
Indeed, and interesting you say from around the world, because many of the people gathering outside Buckingham Palace have clearly come from around the world. They're tourists here, but as deeply touched by it as many of the British people who are here too. When I first came here this morning, there was a trickle of people leaving flowers. Now, as I think I showed you a little bit of earlier, but you can see behind, there are hundreds, if not thousands of people, many of them queuing for what looks like about 40 minutes to be able to be allowed into the cordoned off area where the flowers are being laid in order to lay their flowers, contemplate, say a prayer. They are waiting for a long time on a hot day, many of them young children as well, all carrying bunches of flowers, many with handwritten messages attached to them.
And in some senses, James, when the official announcement about the funeral arrangements came out of Buckingham Palace a few hours ago, in a sense that reflected the need for it to be a people's funeral.
Absolutely. I mean, it is clearly an event that is touching people and will be, as you say, a people's funeral. People have been slightly struck here by how few details have been released about what the funeral arrangements are going to be, but that is, of course, because it is without royal precedent. Buckingham Palace obviously have contingency plans for royal funeral. They even, at times, have run discreet rehearsals for them. This, however, is different. It's not a strictly royal funeral, although it's obviously a very special occasion, and they have handled that dilemma by turning it into this people's funeral, by cashing in it, as it were. And that's the wrong word, but by using the emotion there is here to create a truly national event.
Indeed, James. Thank you very much indeed.
When Diana stepped into the spotlight for the first time in 1981, the small West London nursery where she worked became the focus of world attention. This morning, the woman who ran that nursery and who became a good friend of Diana's spoke to ITN for the first time. Ben McCarthy reports.
Before Diana's marriage into the royal family, which gave her immediate celebrity status, she'd already chosen a career caring for children working at a London kindergarten. Her subsequent charity work, and here visiting children in Angola as part of her campaign against landmines, didn't surprise the teachers who once worked with her. Kay King gave Diana her first job with children and says it was obvious then that that the shy teenager had special qualities.
She was a young, shy, quite naive girl, with a great sense of humour, very kind, and with an obvious love of children. She had a fantastic way with people. She could always get down to their level, and it didn't matter what their background was, who they were. She made them feel relaxed. She had an incredible way with people. I think a lot of it was naturally within her, Diana, quite honestly. But yes, it must have helped her to have been working in a kindergarten. I mean, anyone who works in kindergarten will tell you that in later years it helps with their own children, with other people's children.
And those who knew Diana believed the reason she was such an asset to the charities and campaigns she supported was that all the people she came in contact with in different parts of the world could see how much she cared. Ben McCarthy, ITN.
Well, Nicholas Owen, our royal correspondent, is with me again. Nick, in that report we were hearing very strongly about the Princess's love of children, and I think that an awful lot of people now's thoughts will be with her children. You were at the photo call in Balmoral a couple of weeks ago. What did you make of the two of them then?
Well, Harry Smith said in his report earlier in the programme, made the point very clearly and correctly that that was an arranged photo call. The Prince of Wales invited members of the press and TV to go along and see his sons and himself beginning their holiday, and I was among them. What struck me about it was very much reinforced this great concern that there was already about Prince William. We've mentioned this before, but it was very evident that he found the whole thing very difficult and very uncomfortable. I know he's 15 years old, so he probably would anyway, but one can only imagine the sort of problems this young man is now going to have with this whole thing in view of what has happened to his mother. That's the sort of thing that one keeps coming back to. I keep coming back to in my mind, I must say, as we think of his future from now on.
And of course he's got this ordeal to face on Saturday. Looking ahead at the next few days, how do you see them panning out?
Well, I think the thing that really impressed me this morning is that long line of people wanting to sign a book of condolence. I'm old enough to remember the funeral of Sir Winston Churchill. People queuing. I queued, I can remember, for 4 hours to see his lying in state. This is being repeated again now. This great feeling in this country that this is the sort of thing we do well. I know that sounds like a bit of a cliche, but we do it well. And it's clear that the whole nation will want to do the right thing at the end of her life, very end of her life, for Diana, Princess of Wales.
Nick, thanks very much.
And that is all from this special edition of the Lunchtime News. To give you full coverage of today's developments, we're also extending our later news programmes. John Suchet will be here with the early evening news at 5:40, which will run through until 6:30.
And we'll be back again tomorrow at 12:30. Until then.